A rookie quarterback that is making his first start this Sunday is Justin Fields. Justin Fields is starting against the Cleveland Browns. And against Cincinnati, he played because Dalton went out.
Yep.
He completed 46% of his passes. He had 60 yards passing. He had an interception. He also fumbled, but recovered that fumble, something that Carolina fans wish Cam Newton would have done in the Super Bowl against the Broncos. But Justin Fields had a 40-yard touchdown drop by Allen Robinson. A lot of receivers dropped passes from him as well. So the stats don't tell the complete story. But how do you think Justin Fields will do against Cleveland in his first start?
The bias in me wants him to go out there guns blazing and play amazing. But looking at Cleveland, the defense hasn't played as well as it should be playing, but that's still, the names are still out there. They still have a really good defense. Myles Garrett I believe, is going to feast on that offensive line. They still got Denzel Ward out there. They still got young corners. It's going to be a tough outing. And I think, with the receivers dropping those passes, he has to just get that chemistry in play. But I think Justin Fields is going to play all right. I don't think the Bears are going to win that game. But, having an elite receiver always makes things comfortable for you. And David Montgomery is not a bad running back either. So having those guys in your pocket, and Terry Cohen, who, you could dink and dunk it to him. So it's always comfortable to have that. Darnell Mooney's out there. So he has solid weapons. So I think he'll be okay. It's just if the receivers can catch the ball, if he can make some solid reads. That interception, it wasn't a good interception, but I'm looking for him to be a little bit more comfortable. I don't think he was expected to play that week. He was kind of like nervous because, that's his first time playing. But I think this week he'll be a little bit more prepared.
Get ready for Justin Fields' overreactions after this game. Because, you believe in Cleveland as a defense. I personally don't. I think their pass rush is okay, with Garrett and Jackson and, Jadeveon Clowney. But like I mentioned earlier, they have the 23rd pass defense, the 9th best run defense, and the 22nd best defense in terms of points allowed. Their defense is not good. If the Browns can neutralize the Bears running game, all that's going to do is force Fields to pass, which I think a lot of Bears fans want him to do. They want to see how good this guy is. And Justin Fields is going to play really well. I think he's going to play really well. He has Jimmy Graham, Cole Kmet. You mentioned receivers and the running backs he has. He has a plethora of weapons. Cincinnati and Cleveland are not too far off in terms of how, where they rank defensively. They're not too far off. Cincinnati has a sneaky good defense. Justin Fields is going to have a great game. If I were to project stats, I think he goes 230 for 2 touchdowns. I think he does that. And it's going to be really hard for Matt Nagy to bench him after this. But let's just say hypothetically Justin Fields does bad. He has the perfect excuse to bench him after this, because you just say Andy Dalton was hurt, but he's our starter now, and then, he plays. And I don't like what they're doing with Fields, because I do think that Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace are just trying to save face and save their jobs for next year.
Me too.
That's why I think they're not playing Fields. That's what I believe right now. Because if they played Fields and he doesn't play up to his standards, or he plays well, it gives the Bears front office more of a reason to get rid of this new coaching staff to bring in other people to develop Fields better. But if you don't play Fields at all, you can just say we're developing him. Now the front office doesn't want to fire you because they don't want to ruin his development. So it's a tricky situation, but I do think Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace are trying to save face, and I think Chicago right now is tired of them running that organization. They should be gone. I'm not high on Matt Nagy at all, but I do think Justin Fields is going to have a really good game against Cleveland.
Do you expect the Bears win?
See, that's tough. It depends, because, Baker Mayfield, do I trust Baker to light up that Bears defense? I don't. That running game can, though. It really is about the Cleveland's defense,
yep.
Right? Because you think they're going to do good, I think they're going to do bad. If they do good, they should easily win this game.
They should dominate them.
They should. But I don't think they're going to do good. I love the free agent signings they made, but it just goes to show Troy Hill and John Johnson, outside of Brandon Staley's scheme, don't look so promising.
Yeah.
You know, so and even out Denzel Ward is a great corner, but outside of him, Greedy Williams, unproven. You know, so
Greg Newsome.
They don't have much guys to really, you know, much guys in the secondary to really match up with what the Bears have, because I think Darnell Mooney is a good receiver. I think Allen Robinson, if you move him around and you motion him away from Denzel Ward, can have a really spectacular game. So it really just depends on what you think Cleveland's defense is. I don't think they're very good, so I think Fields is going to have a great game.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should. You know, you look at the defense on paper; it looks great. You know, they should be better than what they are. You know, I'm not gonna hold fault for them against that Chiefs game, because in the first half that defense played elite, and second half they choked. But that game against Houston, I'm gonna hold that again, because they let that game be too close. They should have dominated defensively and offensively. They let that game be too close for too long. And now this game, you're playing a rookie who basically he hasn't really played meaningful snaps yet in the NFL. I mean, he had those 11 attempts, but that was because Andy Dalton got hurt. He shouldn't really even be playing right now. So you're playing a rookie. You're playing Allen Robinson. You're playing an elite receiver. You have an elite corner to match up with him. And you're playing a pretty bad offensive line. So I think this should be a dominant defensive effort. I shouldn't expect nothing less.
Yeah, I agree. Cleveland, coming into the season, was projected to be a Super Bowl contending team.
They haven't looked like that.
Yeah, their defense hasn't looked good, and Baker Mayfield is what he is. So, you know, that's holding them back. But like I said before, I do think Fields is going to have a great game. We're just going to see what happens. You know, I do think we're going to see a lot of Justin Fields overreactions after this first game.
Oh, he's like a fan favorite.
He is. I think he's the quarterback that has the most fans out of this draft class. There's no doubt about it. And I think it's because of QB1, the show on Netflix, because he was in it.
Definitely.
So.
That's not even why I was a fan of him. I just liked him in Ohio State. He just looked nice.
And Ohio State is a big school, you know, so a lot of attention is on them.
Hell yeah. And then when he beat Trevor Lawrence, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm on the wagon.